Hello, everyone. We welcome you back to the Advancement Center. And thank you for joining us up here on the elevated platform of living, where your music and the world of magic and miracles live. It's the place where your perspective of everything is at a much higher vibration. Welcome to your world of magic and miracles. I call out to everyone as family, our family. By now, you must realize the importance of your presence as the charter members of this emerging industry of magic and miracles. And as charter members with firsthand information, we cannot help but be the bearer of good news and good times that are coming via Swissindo and so much more. Our advanced intelligence is opening our vision. It is what brought you to this broadcast. The only reason the cost is just $1 is because Robert and I want everyone to be present. Thank you to so many of you who contribute many times that printed amount. So let's see what happens today. Last week, I said, was there a smile on your face when you first saw the invitation with Tinkerbell? And I decided to keep that Tinkerbell on the invitation so she can remind you that you all have Tinkerbell sparkles. And most are forgetting the importance in throwing them up in the air as I shoo that fly away and change the world. Throw your sparkles in the most unlikely places and watch the changes in the room and on everyone's faces. The title of this invitation is Magic, Miracles, and Money. So let's deal with the money first. As we look out from our elevated platform of living to view the latest news in the positive money sector. So, as promised, here's the weekly update from UN Swissindo. By now, I hope everyone on the call knows that those words, Swissindo, and just realize that it's the clear route out of the debt slavery system that has been foisted upon us for much too long. Most of you know this Swissindo information and have been telling the good news to your friends and family, but for those joining us for the first time, welcome. Welcome. I recommend checking out two websites, swissindo.news, where you will download your MV voucher, which looks just like this. And that's where you put your passport picture and your thumbprint, and don't sign it. Hold on to this piece of paper, and I will be letting you know when you can take it to the bank. And you'll love what will happen then. Okay? And then scroll down a bit further and download your DBLC. That is your debt. Go away, fly. That is your debt burden liberation certificate. This is very, very important. So download this, hold on to this, and you're going to take this to the bank as well. because this is going to wipe away all debts that you have incurred before 2016. That could be mortgages, college tuition. No one has to be a slave anymore. It's coming. Now, there's another website that I think you'll be interested in. It's called Swissindo.net. And this is where you can read all the history. Every week I try to give you a little bit more so that you're familiar, but they will tell you. And one of the reports I read, the first one I read, is why the UN does not have a president. That's a teaser, but read that and you'll find out how the UN came to be. And perhaps I'll give you a little bit of that a bit later. So, every man, woman, and child will have their basic needs taken care of on this planet by Swissindo. That is a mandate. And that is what's going to happen. Because many of you know that all the gold that the CIA has been trying to get their hands on is safe and sound in warehouses in Indonesia. So, a little bit more about that later. But the human obligation of $6 million per person from 17 years of age and with a legal identity, and students earn a monthly basic income of $600 a month. I don't know if that's clear. Every adult gets $1,200 per month for the rest of their life. Every student gets $600 per month until they are adult, and which they consider 17. So your little first grader can be getting $600 a month until he is 17. Now, this is known as God's mission, the mandate to free and unite the 7.5 billion people throughout the payment order called 1 through 11. Okay? And they will support countries. They will support governments of the world in the implementation of the individual debt burden liberation. I think I'm getting a little bit off the track here. Remember I told you about that debt burden that's going to be relieved from you? You know, the colleges, the mortgages, all the other debts that you feel burdened to repay every month with interest? Well, your dowry or your Social Security since your birth has been borrowed against many, many, many times. And you've been paying those back. You've been paying the interest. And guess what? Your debt is paid. No one can do that to you anymore. So then there's a corporate debt burden liberation as well. They're going to save the corporations because they keep a lot of things moving. And that is $2 billion set aside for each corporation. And then there's a country quota helping the governments of countries. And that is 138 trillion, 990 billion each. That should take care of a few debts. And then even the banks are going to be saved to the tune of 138 trillion, 990 billion. I know you're not remembering these numbers, just that they're big. But the most wonderful thing is the Venus Project. And this is for the construction of the universe. Mr. Jacques Fresco is the mastermind of this magnificent project, which represents the culmination of his life work, the integration of the best of science and technology within a comprehensive plan for a global society based on human and environmental concern. And this will soon be ours to enjoy. So collectively known as the World Solution Gift Offer for the highest good of all. Now, this is pretty funny because I say this every week because I mean it with my heart. And this week I saw it on Facebook and it's gone viral. Things are not getting worse. They are getting uncovered. We must hold each other tight. We must hold each other very, very tight and continue to pull back the veil and see each other as we really are. And at 6:48 a.m., I got a text from my very dear colleague, Vidi. And she said, here's a thought for you. If you receive Swisindo and your copy of the M1 voucher, you are on the elevated platform where there is infinite possibility, called Magic and Miracles. It is not about the money. Can you imagine the whole earth glowing? Now you know that the head, by now, you know that the head of Swisindo is M1 and is called Bapak, a name of adoration. Last week, I told you of his imprisonment. His computer and phone were taken, but all information is not available to his captors. And of course, he's being jailed on false pretenses. The truth of the bank corruption is being broadcast in the Indonesian media. The corruptors are being exposed throughout the world. Now, M1 is the owner of the World Bank, and letters of support have been flooding in from 5 continents and in every language. We at the Advancement Center sent in a powerful letter, and it was read at the meeting of all Secretary Generals of every ministry. My team is the National and International Humanitarian Assistance Ministry, and there are ministries to match whatever is your talent and skill, and the door is open for you to join us. Now, the World Bank was established by President Sukarno in 1945 to assist and develop those countries in need after World War II. $70 trillion has been stolen since 1961. And now with M1 at the helm, he has forgiven the guilty countries and is insisting on a signed peace treaty that has been scheduled for October, which is probably the reason he was imprisoned. The swell of support from around the world is unanimous, and we are keeping a very close watch. And if they refuse to sign, there's imprisonment and a fine of $1 trillion. We're being given the opportunity to have a front row seat, taking an action if we choose, and not having to accept the media's slant. And it is with pleasure that I can pass along to you actual happenings. Now, you have all been introduced to Mohammed Khalid, our newest Swissindo member. Thursday, Mohammed attended his second weekly meeting at 12:30 a.m. his time in the UK. And of course, the first thing on the agenda is always M1's situation. And Mohammed is with us when he realizes the negative forces want to abort the positive forces, but this time they will not have a foothold. With what has been achieved already and the flood of letters pouring in supporting M1 from 5 continents. And here is the letter that we sent from the Advancement Center. We're representing you. We sent this on August 13th. And the name is too long, and I don't know how to pronounce it. We note that action has been taken to cease the mandated process of UN Swissindo's humanitarian efforts. The Advancement Center and Robert Young have brought forth the original vision that we are all radiant beings in harmony with the overwhelming desires of each and every person. The UN Swissindo mandate of bringing a balance to the financial needs of all society is in total agreement with the policies of the Advancement Center. Our purpose is to advance humanity in all areas, including finance, human resources, energy systems, and many more. Our numerous associates throughout the world join with us in encouraging the continuation of the UN Swissindo payment 1 through 11 programs. We trust the appropriate authorities will address and correct the present situation in our name. Yours sincerely, Barbara Whiting, Managing Director. Now, as I said before, all funds have been returned to the rightful owner, M1. The UN was the owner of the World Bank, and now the ownership has been returned to M1. The UN no longer has control of any funds. And that's why I'm suggesting that you read why the UN has no president. The World Bank, as we have known it, has become an international bank that has no right to give out or access the funds anymore. I'm stressing that because we drive the East Side Highway in Manhattan, we see that great big structure, and they don't have the power that they used to. Now, the World Bank under M1 is called now the World Bank Group, and it has grown exponentially. This support is being shown to the world. The IT team has been gathering all the evidence of corruption, and Google, how about that, has provided information of corruption going back to 1915. Now, when M1 heard the story of Mohammed's connection via a friend to the PM, Prime Minister of Pakistan, M1 requested a letter from the PM listing all the debts and projects of his country, and they will be taken care of by Swissindo. The debt has already been wiped clean. I read this and I have such an amazing response to this. How did they get away with this? This is what the World Bank used to do. They would take donor countries or rich ones to donate money to help struggling countries, and private banks were involved. One of the loans went to Indonesia and Africa and several others. And they get these loans that need to be paid back with interest, totally against what World Bank is about. We were up to 40 country donors in 2018 that became external partners and loaner banks. Sukarno gave grants to these poor countries, not loans that had to be paid back. So when they can't pay anymore, they take the land as collateral. The countries are entitled to another loan if they provide land as collateral back. Other banks are involved in taking lands as well against IDA regulations. That is International Development Association regulations. We have more acronyms than you can wave a stick at, and I'm learning them slowly. So Honorable Bapak is back in there and in charge and taking it all back. So 40 donor countries have all been in trouble financially. So how can they assist if they have no money? And that's when they go back they take all the land and all the resources. And we've heard about it. We read about it in the newspaper, and then we say, well, what can we do? Well, M1 is doing a lot. Yeah. How do you think the Rothschilds got so big? Now I know how the 1% happened. You know, you get this information and you grow with it. And you can let all the fairy tales go and all the media slant. And you start to be discerning and you look through everything. And then, of course, they say follow the money, and you know who's doing what. Forgive me, but I had so many things happening. Oh, I know. Here we go. As I said, M1 wants everything transparent. There are no secrets. He's telling everybody exactly what he's going to do and how he's going to do it. And we've all become account holders in the World Bank group. So we put our name and our picture and our position. And believe it or not, we have access to everyone else's account. So we have people following us, and we have people we are following. And the first thing Susan Terry told us, she's our Secretary General, she said, I'll follow you, you follow me, and you follow M1. So I did. I went to his page, and my God, every debt, well, first of all, you could see a large page of every country's debt. And on the next page, every debt is made into a zero. And I thought, wow, this is what we've been waiting for, transparency. So, okay. So now that Mohammed is really one of us, his new title is His Excellency Mohammed Khalid, Cabinet Council, Humanitarian Relief coordinator. And he is so proud. And I know you're on the call, Mohammed, and we're so proud to have you. So now this is kind of interesting because M1 is directing everything from his prison cell. But the person on the outside who is doing all his bidding is Mr. F. And you can imagine why we have to keep his name, I don't know his name, a secret, because he is holding the bag on a lot of people and a lot of countries. And he's the one who has all the information about the corruption, and he can be the undoing of a lot of people. So he's representing M1, and M1 said, we will need 750 members to go into the meeting to double the role in the International Development Association Committee. We will be involved in this, and I will work closely with them, finishing posters and information on what we will do with other countries. And in bold letters on the agenda, it has Ecuador, Colombia, and now Pakistan, where the country will be made bankrupt, and Honorable Bapak has given instructions on exactly how to assist them. So they've already done this, and this is the way he works. For Colombia, they've already done it in Indonesia, and it worked. And they made Indonesia bankrupt and without debt. So then he said, now for Colombia, there are already grants, and we will take one grant from Indonesia and type in the name of the country, another country, and see all the grants. And now that's what they did with Pakistan. So they're rolling this. They did the first one in Indonesia. Now they're going to do it for Pakistan. So, and M1 said, this is great news for Pakistan. As soon as you get the letters and meet with the Prime Minister, Mohammed. So Mohammed has it all choreographed with his brother and cousin. And M1 will invite the Prime Minister of Pakistan to Indonesia, who will bring another with him. And the dialogue between Mohammed and Susan, Mohammed said, let this be a start. We can take it all over the world. And one person said to Mohammed in this group on Thursday night, so happy to have you with us. And Mohammed said, it is meant to be. And in a text with Susan after the meeting, when I congratulated her on her wonderful meeting, I said, we are the joy of Mohammed. And she answered, and he is the joy of Swisindo. Wow, I didn't know. Yeah, that's how it's happening. And that's why I invite each and every one of you who have these feelings, these deep feelings, since you were a little child, and you said, why can't there be peace in the world? Now you have a chance to play a little part. And we don't know how that little part can become a very large part. Okay. Okay. I guess what I'm feeling now is the amazement to know that we are doing what I've always known to be true, helping others, bringing peace to the world, and becoming so much more. This is not a teaching. We get emails every day wanting to hear when we're having our next event. Can they have a personal counseling session with Robert? Do we have any books? And I say, and I write back the same thing. I said, it is you who have come from your origin, bringing your gifts to the world of magic and miracles, established and maintained by each and every one of you. It's interesting. But you'd have to be in a remote island in the Pacific not to see all that's going on in the world of media, Facebook, whatever. And then you see hundreds of likes, dislikes, and all the rest. And it just made me realize it's time to read this that Robert wrote. Everyone has a personal reception room. This is where your mini yous acting on your behalf receive incoming information and immediately apply the appropriate stamp of approval or disapproval. Mostly disapproval because of years of training. Now, these are all the other people. We're up here on the elevated platform. But it's important to realize that they need us. Not physically. They need us to hold the standard. The stamps are clearly marked ridiculous, outlandish, outdated, too far out, and most of the time the new idea is just tossed away into the trash bin. You might ask, how can there be any new information entering your field to experience if your reception room has a very small window of acceptance or even a brief glimpse of a possibility of something other than what you are so familiar with? Protection from anything new. Obedience to a set of rules set by that little policeman who watched your intake since childhood, or perhaps it is the lazy man's way of keeping everything low key and at the status quo. What a perfect climate in which to take charge of a whole population of people satisfied with the status quo and repelling all progress or improvement via becoming conscious of a never spoken truth. So don't be put off by another's personal reception room. Just keep being you. So happy when Robert wrote this on August 8th. We are now past the point of acceptance of the existence of magic and miracles, and as such, we are in a position to exercise our magic in a real way. In the initial school of magic, there is one outstanding reality that makes magic possible, and that is there are no rules. There are no methods, and everything works every time. To take this into your physical reality, you must apply it to everything all the time, and this includes your assessment of other people's actions and interactions. If you are determined to live a life of magic and miracles, then you must accept that nothing is wrong, because there is a miracle for every situation and a multitude of unique outcomes that can never be repeated. This is a big step for your conscious awareness, and it is evident that it will be out of tune with what you know as part of your natural operating system. Your natural operating system has been induced as part of the awareness of the human entity. And once it changes, all associated parts of the physical reality will change with it. Now, the world of magic and miracles is in place in the physical, and it is continually changing in a random and uncontrollable manner. This maintains our being and holds us above the rules of logic. Nothing acts as it should, and everything works under the most illogical circumstances to produce a life that is unique and exciting in every moment. The old programs that are held in the field of the physical body are gradually being flushed out from each person's system and not being replaced by anything. And there are some of us who have that experience. Look ahead and listen to the future as you live the life of magic and miracles in the totally random fields of the earth and its celestial partners. The dance and the music will take you away from the troubled world and hold you there forever. Just before we go on, I just wanted to, I was speaking to Vidi before, and we were talking about our diplomatic immunity because we're diplomats to the UN. So I just thought I'd share. She said, Vidi just got her badge, so I thought I'd show you mine. Whoops, are you there? There. So this little badge says a lot, and it gives us diplomatic immunity. I don't think it's going to be a parking space in Manhattan, though, but we have diplomatic immunity, and I saw that sitting here, and I wanted to share that with you. So much is happening. There's truly an explosion of newness if we open ourselves to experience it, rejoice in it, and celebrate. Now, here is that explosion of reality that has never been experienced before and is beautiful evidence of magic and miracles. The advancements, we should have a trumpet here or something. The Advancement Center is producing our first show, and the name is Magic and Miracles Alive. I've shown this before, and I'm going to show it to you every Sunday until October 13th, and then I'll show you a new one for our new show, because these cannot end. We need these shows of magic and miracles in the physical and on a stage. It will be held on Saturday, October 13th at the Marjorie Luke Theater right here in Santa Barbara. Invite everybody. If you're so far away that you can't get here, tell all your friends who live in the LA area and Santa Barbara area. And at this moment, I'm just going to tell you something that is so magnificent. Well, I'll get to it later. It's on the next page. So at any rate, we're hoping that everybody who hears this sees the flyers and just gets excited. We'll have a full house. I know it. We're all seeing that. And David and Genya have been living the magic as they prepare for the show seamlessly as they distribute our beautiful flyer and poster that I just showed you. But I have to tell you that that beautiful flyer, which grew up to be a poster, was designed by our dear friend, Adrian. And now I don't have the actual one, but here is the kiosk outside the Marjorie Luke Theater with a 20 by 40 poster of Magic and Miracles alive. So, fabulous musicians have been engaged, and in a letter to all the musicians, David is asking them to share their magic on stage. I am asking each of you to share your magic as you transmit every minute of every day, wherever you are, on a stage called life. Did you know that? You, as charter members of the new industry of magic and miracles, represent all of us as you live your magic. So this letter could have been addressed to you. Now, tickets are online. They're on Facebook. And we're all walking around with secret and not so secret smiles at the joy and anticipation of sharing our magic. At the rate we are going, I can't imagine when I'll be able to report to you next week. You can go on Facebook on our page and you can get a ticket, right? And you can also go to another website with Eventbrite, Eventbrite, and order tickets through them. And the exciting part of that is that we get emails from Eventbrite every time a ticket is sold, and to whom. And this morning, David Jones bought a ticket. And that's exciting because Vidi didn't know anything about that one. And then we got another one. And I was thrilled because my friend Azeb in New York bought a ticket. But before that, she sent me an email and she said, "Dear Barbara, I believe newness is coming. I felt it in every part of my body. No need to do what others do. I must do what truly matters to me. I am working to bring someone with me who needs." David spoke. "I have clearance. Time to see you all." And then bought a ticket. That is so apparently beyond her means, but not really. So thank you, Azeb. I know you're on this call. And I love her email address is for you at Unity Without Borders. That's amazing. And what else is amazing is the unity that we are feeling with each and every one of you. And this is an amazingly special weekend because we have our, I don't want to say whole family, but we have a wonderful representation of our family here for the weekend. And I feel each and every one of them as they sit there watching this broadcast. And what's so special is that on Friday, I hope you all heard David's wonderful broadcast. And his writing is coming up from the heart of everything we stand for. Is at the heart of every celebration. And he wrote this, which I love. Change is coming. Conceived in love, 9 months of grace, change was coming. We enter a new place. Lungs breathe new oxygen. With a cry, we transcend. Change, growth, change, growth. It is coming soon. It is coming again. Wow. Every time I hear David read something that he has written, I hear his origin, and he brings me to mine. And on Friday, all I could remember was the relief felt as a little child when my parent would say, everything is all right. And this is what David wrote. Everything is all right. What if you could live as though everything is all right? What if you found out that it is a part of your birthright, that you were born with this gift because of the true greatness of who you are? If this was your reality, you would have a completely different perspective of the life that meets you every day when you awaken. All thoughts of worry and concern would immediately disappear, and a great peace would surround you. There would no longer be any reaction to the circumstances of life, nothing to fight against, and nothing to resist. Because in the end, everything is all right. You could get off the cycle of making money and surviving and do what you really came here to do, to connect, to share, to feel each person's majesty as you feel your own, and live life through the world of magic and miracles. The light of this truth is pouring on the planet, and soon no one will be able to escape it. All of a sudden, your perspective about something will change, and you won't even realize it. You'll think, well, this is how I always thought. But it will take a friend to let you know that you are different, that you never used to think this way. And you'll start to notice other people changing, being swept away by the light of harmony instead of the need to be right. A softness will be felt, not unlike the softness you feel when you are around little children, because they are the ones who still know this birthright and still know their greatness and still know that everything is all right. Love, David. Remember when I said David takes me to my origin? He not only takes me to my origin, but he puts the lights on and everything is in Technicolor. And I see so much more every day. This next one I will read touched me the deepest. And then we'll have a time to just be with ourselves and each other. before you entered the womb. There is a place where a waterfall exists as the veil, where beautiful sounds of harmony play, where light in the form of galaxies dance and sparkle. And all these things are there before you entered the womb. This is your home, your true origin, where you know yourself and are yourself before you entered the womb. The feeling in this place is beyond magnificent. You are surrounded by sights and sounds so full of perfection. And this and that perfection is you before you entered the womb. The feeling in this place is amazing. I'm going to read that again. The feeling in this place is beyond magnificent. You are surrounded by sights and sounds so full of perfection, and that perfection is you before you entered the womb. But this is still you. And now that you have exited the womb, you only remember who you are before you entered the womb. Let's go there. We can stay like this all day. And in some realm, we are all together in this moment all day. And the fly wants to be there too. And here is another wonder by David called Fly. Fly. Spread your wings and fly. Fly to that place that is calling you home. Your spirit is leading you there in so many ways with so many messages, both consciously and unconsciously. So don't worry, the message is getting through. Whatever gift you have brought here from that place inside of you, your home, you can let it shine on the world. Doors open, and a path has been made for your flight. A runway with lights of sparkles is letting you know that you have clearance for takeoff. It's your time to fly. So spread your wings and fly, fly, fly. Thank you, David. We have a treasure. Each and every one of us has a treasure. And David shares his treasure with everyone. And just this week, he shared this with us, and I share this with you. He doesn't know that I'm showing you. David has just come out with a book, A Bridge to the Dimension of the Sacred Feminine. You'll find other selections in here. But whatever David touches, it's with his whole being, his majestic self, touching your majestic self. And I get the pleasure of speaking them, speaking those words. Well, I'll see you again on Wednesday when Genya carries us to our own inner music and David once again lights our way with his musical words of being. Now you can share you with us and watch the magic happen. Thank you for joining us today. And remember to share your light and carry your Tinkle Bell sparkles with you at all times. As you watch, you will see the sparkle fly like dust in the desert to reveal many more stars that are alive with energy that is meant for you. This is the opening of the new world that has been developed by all humanity over many thousands of years. And now, as if by magic, out of absolutely nowhere, to begin its life of reality in every part of the universe. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I thank my dear friends who are sitting right here with me. And we are all wishing you perfect life, perfect health, and a very magical future. Thank you.